So this is the start of week 2 in my program to hit 700 pounds on deadlift. Currently, all my training starts after a 10-hour shift, 3 hours of driving every day, and months of accruing sleep debt. So that's going to be the main point of contention for this entire program. For example, these squats that I'm doing here were after being up for 16 hours and it was 6 p.m. at the time. I was doing them in a storage unit adjacent to the gym I was working at with no AC. And I believe it was around 90 or 100 degrees in there. It has also been several months since I've done squats, so these were pretty tough for me to get reaccustomed to. As you just seen that massive tilt to my right side, that goes away after I warm up, but still it shows that I have a bad imbalance for squats currently, which I'm going to continue to work on with making sure I'm actually fully recovered before I start training and making sure my sleep is on point and nutrition. And I'm also going to focus on stretching as much as possible to get those tight spots out, which is, I believe, a big reason why the imbalance is there. Lastly, the fact that this is my first squat session in a while is going to greatly contribute to that. So it should go away after a few months of me getting back into squats. They should smoothen up a lot at that point. And right now, since my focus on deadlift is priority number 1, squats seem like they shouldn't be as high up there, but for me, because leg drive and strength off the ground is my biggest weakness, I need to make sure my squats are good too. Because leg strength and your quads are primarily responsible for your deadlift leg drive. You see me going in to adjust the safety pins now. That's because the 2 plates already felt a little bit hard, so I know that 3 plates is going to be more difficult. I have to make sure I don't get folded. I do foresee these issues going away though once I start getting reaccustomed to squats, as I said. For this next set, I actually also add the belt just to double make sure that the weight doesn't feel too hard on my joints, just to make sure my recovery doesn't suffer a lot down the road. It's also, again, so that I don't crush my spine mid 315 lift. That'd be so embarrassing. So that was my last solo set before the 365 pause squats, and I could kind of tell that this was going to be a little bit harder, but I also knew that from that lift and experience that I have, that the 365 would be possible and wouldn't affect my recovery down the road. You can see here though, the sleep and heat are getting to me in this clip. But before I start my set, I have to believe that none of that matters, which is here. So that was a lot harder than it's supposed to be. Not fatigue anything, but still. So I had to switch from pause squats to regular squats, which made it a lot harder. Second set without the pause did feel leagues better, which makes me think that I was maybe not fully warmed up yet. Which means that it did take me a long time to warm up, but I think the lifestyle situation right now may have a part to play in that. I'm also trying to get back into weighted pull-ups as a primary compound movement for myself, because I was able to do 180 pounds added to the belt, and I've definitely suffered a lot of strength loss in that respect, as you'll see from this pull-up session that I'm recording now. Although at the same time I still had a flaring left shoulder issue that I was trying to work on, which is why I'm doing resistance band wide pulls here. Although I have since found via Squat University an excellent source for information if you have either mobility issues or strength imbalance issues causing pain, which is 101 for the left shoulder problem that I'm having. But right now I'm working up from one plate all the way up to my working sets, which I'm going to basically experiment with how much strength I've lost, and it's a really massive number. I think because I've been focusing maybe a little bit too much on strictly deadlift, so I'm going to have to branch out a little bit and try to focus more on weighted dips and pull-ups, as you see here. Because I am trying to be a more versatile athlete for some ventures that I'll be getting into later. Maybe part of the issue with my pull-up strength is that I've gained about 20 pounds, although I think that shouldn't subtract that much from my weighted pull-up. Still, it possibly leads to something. Drop the weight and do bodyweight pull-ups to get much more stimulation on the muscle, hopefully increasing my pull-up capacity later down the road. So that was 4 reps at 70 added pounds, plus 200 pounds body weight, which is a big fall from where I used to be, but I'll get back to it. I also have to consider that it may not be strictly a training issue, but the fact that my entire recovery system and gym situation has been lopsided for a long time. So I'll be working on that, and that's going to get fixed. This was a different session in the week, as you can see the outfit change, and I feel like I had quite a bit more energy for this session, which is why I was able to push it a lot harder here. I'm also doing triceps in this workout because I want to focus more on maintaining my bench strength so that I don't dip that much when I switch back to a bench specific program. I'm also going to take this time to reiterate, in case you haven't seen my last video, my goals for this channel and what I'm going to do in the future, competitive wise. So currently I weigh 200 pounds and I want to cut that to about 180 pounds, and I plan to compete in powerlifting, strongman, and arm wrestling sports. For this 16-week period, I intend to conventional deadlift 700 pounds, and that's possible because I am primarily a neural drive specific athlete, which isn't as common in the current scene. And I think I'm going to be able to take the advantages that come with that and my specific style of training and perspective on competition and strength training in general to a very high competitive position in all 3 sports I reference. But we'll just have to wait and see what all that looks like. By the end of this 16 weeks, I believe that what happens with that lift, pass, or fail will be significant proof that what I'm saying is going to happen. As at that body weight, the body weight that I'm going to be at when I pull 700, 185 pounds, there are only a handful of people on the entire planet who have ever done such a thing. And to do it conventional on top of that, I'm not sure has ever been done. You can fact check me on that and let me know in the comments, but I don't know of anyone off the top of my head who has done that. Conventional, of course, it has been done sumo. Although at the same time, for me, to pull 700 conventional translates to the fact that if I did a sumo 16-week program for deadlift, I would probably be in the high 700 to 800 pound deadlift territory, which also, again, is something that I'm not sure of if anyone can do at that body weight. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Maybe I encounter a barrier in this program and with body weight wise that shows why it hasn't been done, but I do believe that it will happen. And it's going to happen in spite of the fact that this program is riddled with challenges. So just the fact that I have very inconsistent sleep, my diet is something I have to retake control of, my neural drive is very spotty, as the nervous system is, because of how long it takes to recover. So that, combined with any slight recovery issues, cascades into sessions like what you're about to see with my deadlift. In this session, it was just not there that day, and for me, not there that day could mean 300 pounds off of what I'm actually capable of, or something that should be RPE 3 turned into a 9, which is why for this day, actually, I was supposed to go up to 455. Yes, that's correct, 455. And I was able to do it, but it was so hard I had to lower the weight to maintain the RPE target that I was looking for. Otherwise, the program would crumble if I continued to train that way, because I would just mount nervous system fatigue and I would never get anywhere for the 700-pound goal that we're going for. And some more on that RPE target I was just explaining. That's the way I keep my program in check so that I don't surpass what my nervous system is capable of with recovery restraints currently. So I always keep the RPE a little bit lower, maybe in the 5 or 6 range in the start of the program, or week 1 for my cycles, which I have 4 cycles in this program. It's going to be 4 weeks of 4. So my RPE starts at maybe 5 or 6, and then as the weeks progress, it goes up to 7, 8, and 9. And then the second cycle, or the cycle after that, it restarts at 5 so that my periodization can be in check and I can recover in time for the next heavy session. That specific style of training or approach, I guess, is more tailored to my neural drive specification that I've been training for. So really what I'm trying to say, it's very specialized and might not be something that's good for you. But if you are also a neural drive lifter, then maybe it's something that you should consider looking at and seeing how it changes your training and possibly makes progress a lot better. And this was that 455 set I was talking about. It didn't look that hard, but it was hard enough for me to have to cut weight and go back down to make sure my RPE target was right again, so I don't just get completely squalled by the volume and intensity that I'd be maintaining if I tried to continue with what the program was saying. So for this set, it was a lot cleaner and it wasn't very taxing on my nervous system like the last set was, and neural drive was the main priority. And here on the 405, and I think I added 5 on each side because I noticed it was a little bit easier and I could go up. These were the pause sets, and these I think were in the perfect difficulty range. So the takeaway from that, I guess, is that you're never gonna get perfectly on the number with the auto regulation that I have to do mid-set or mid-workout, but as long as you adjust the weight back and forth until you find the right range, you're gonna get really close to what you actually need to get a good session in, and that's the best approach in that situation.